Why would Republican lawmakers care about what Democratic voters think? Democratic voters aren't going to vote for them. They're voting for Democratic lawmakers who are totally abandoning them and doing nothing. Look, everyone understands that Republicans are in charge right now. Everyone.
Yeah, everyone understands, and you better get used to it, Democrats. And hopefully, Donald Trump will keep taking advantage of this advantage that he has, taking advantage of this positive situation that he has to continue his blitzkrieg of of whatever it takes, executive orders, shutting down, slashing bloated federal bureaucracy, and all that. So we're on the Young Turks today. Ana Kasparian is talking about how annoying it is, how pathetic it is that the Democrats simply can't seem to get their act together. They got beaten soundly at the last election, and they're floundering. They seem to have no idea. Let's get into it.
I'm trying to figure out what leverage we actually have. What leverage do we have? They control the House, the Senate, and the presidency. It's their government. What leverage do we have?
Last Friday, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, the gentleman you just heard from, seemed kind of frustrated at the notion that Democratic voters are, wanting their Democratic lawmakers to do something, to do anything, to essentially fight back against what's currently transpiring with Republicans, their efforts to advance Trump's agenda, and honestly, what's happening at the executive branch. I mean, we haven't really heard much from Democratic lawmakers. Yes, there's been a rally here or there. Usually those rallies are incredibly embarrassing and accomplish nothing. It's very clear there's no strategy in place whatsoever. And now, thanks to a new scoop from Axios, Jeffries is apparently furious with grassroots Democrats who want their elected leaders to take action. It's just so pathetic. So we'll get to that newer report momentarily, but first, a bit of context. So a week ago, Axios broke a different report stating that congressional Democrats were getting an unprecedented volume of calls to their offices. So some staffers said that they hadn't seen this many calls since seminal events like the October 7th attack, the Brett Kavanaugh hearings, or even the Trump impeachment proceedings. Now, get a load of this. Representative Mark Pocan stated, "We had the most calls we've ever had in one day last Monday in 12 years. And Representative Jim McGovern told Axios, "I can't recall ever receiving this many calls. People are disgusted with what's going on, and they want us to fight back." It's kind of amazing that they need a high volume of calls from their own constituents to understand that, their constituents would want them to do anything. But okay, some of those calls were coordinated by grassroots organizations, including Move On and Indivisible. A spokesperson for Indivisible confirmed to Axios that they did, in fact, direct people to call Democratic lawmakers. They directed them to call over 30,000 calls to Democratic senators and over 4,000 calls to representatives in just 2 weeks. But Axios explained that congressional Democrats are not really appreciating this. They're actually pretty irritated by it. One anonymous House Democrat, and you can understand why they want to be anonymous, stated the following: "There has definitely been some tension the last few days where people felt like you're calling the wrong people. You are literally calling the wrong people." Okay, well, who are they supposed to call? Senator Richard Blumenthal is about to explain. What I think we need to do more is put the onus on Republicans so that the calls that we're getting are directed toward Republicans. Why would Republican lawmakers care about what Democratic voters think?
That doesn't even make any sense at all. She's right. The Young Turks are just laying in to the Democratic establishment, and so they should. I mean, I'm glad personally, and if you're watching this channel, you're probably glad too, that the Democrats are not only flailing and floundering, but they seem to be imploding. It's like they could have had a layup at the last election if if they had just done some reasonable things. They could have had a good chance, let's put it that way. But and the Young Turks are obviously very annoyed with the Democratic establishment. Young Turks don't like the Republicans by definition, and I don't like the Republican establishment at all. But of course, I'm happy to see the Democrats crash and burn. And the Young Turks are obviously very frustrated by this, as well they should be. But I hope the Democrats keep on going down this path.
Democratic voters aren't going to vote for them. They're voting for Democratic lawmakers who are totally abandoning them and doing nothing. Look, everyone understands that Republicans are in charge right now. Everyone understands that Donald Trump is the president and Republicans have a majority in Congress, in both the House and the Senate. We get it. But there is a clear distinction between Democrats and Republicans when the shoe is on the other foot and Republicans don't have the majority in the House or Senate, and when a Democrat is in the executive branch. They find other creative ways to fight back. But you don't see that from Democrats. That's the thing that really stands out here. And look, if they're not going to have a strategy, the least they can do is shut the F up about how irritated they are that their constituents want them to do something, but they can't help themselves. This is the thing about the Democratic Party. They loathe their base.
Ooh, wow. That is a major red pill there. The Democrats loathe their base. Yes, they do. Now, do the Republicans also loathe their base? Maybe. You know, the Republicans are sort of interesting because there's the MAGA Republicans and then there's the establishment Republicans, I guess. I think the establishment in both parties absolutely loathe their base. They do not give a damn about ordinary people. They do not give a damn about protecting the country, making it better, staying out of foreign entanglements, shutting off mass migration, which causes all sorts of problems. They don't care damn about that, much like in Europe, where I live, in Belgium, and in other European countries. The establishment parties are absolutely, clearly do not care at all what the voters think. They actively work against the voters, and the European Union, even worse.
Was clear to me all the way back in 2016 with the way Hillary Clinton and all her cronies talked about Democratic voters, and it's even clearer to me now. They feel entitled to their positions of power. They do not see themselves as public servants. They see you, the Democratic voters, as their public servants. It is disgusting. And time again, in every election cycle, dating back to 2016, all we get from Democrats is, do you really have a choice? You don't vote for us. Look at the other guy. Dangerous, dangerous. Okay, at some point, voters are going to get sick of that, and they're either not going to show up to vote, or they might actually cast a ballot for the other guy. There's more. So let's talk about the latest reporting from Axios. Recently, Axios reported on a closed-door meeting that House Democrats had this week, where they were essentially engaging in this gripe fest directed at liberal grassroots organizations. Hakeem Jeffries, of course, was part of that complaint-a-thon. An anonymous senior House Democrat said Jeffries himself is very frustrated at the groups. Resign. Step down. You are not fit to be a leader of any party. I mean, much less the PTA. Resign. What are you doing? You're frustrated that as the House minority leader, Democratic voters are expecting you to fight back against the Republicans' agenda? Okay. A spokesperson for Jeffries, though, says that characterization was incorrect and stated that the House minority leader had actually spoken to stakeholder groups like MoveOn and Indivisible as recently as Monday. And the co-founder of Indivisible did tell Axios the following: our supporters are asking Democrats to demand specific red lines are met before they offer their vote to House Republicans on the budget, when Republicans inevitably fail to pass the bill on their own. And look, there's truth to that. So right now, there is some significant infighting in the Republican House caucus, because remember, you have the far-right group, the House Freedom Caucus, I mean, they just want to like burn everything down. And they're threatening to vote no on the budget if they don't get everything they want. Well, then you have the more moderate Republicans who serve in swing districts, and they don't want to go that far. So there is a possibility that with the slim majority Republicans have, Democrats could have some leverage. Let's hear about that.
Yeah, burn everything down. I wouldn't personally go quite as far as to say burn it all down, but there is a lot to burn down in the swamp. And from the looks of it, Trump and Elon and Doge are getting off to a good start with the burning everything down, or burning, starting with the burn, a controlled burn, which will probably have some unintended consequences, but overall it will be a good thing, hopefully, if they carry on doing it. But in general, basically since the election, the Young Turks here, Ana Kasparian in particular, and Cenk Uygur for that matter, have been just incredibly frustrated with the Democrats. I'm not surprised, but for me, I see it as a good sign because I hope the Democrats keep frustrating their base. They are obviously completely out of touch. They obviously do not care. They're floundering, they're flailing, and it's beautiful to watch. So I, of course, hope the Democrats keep on going down this road because they will eventually crash and burn. And, maybe that will be another 4 years, when 2028 comes along. Who knows what will happen, or when the midterms come. But, of course, anything can happen in the meantime. Maybe they'll turn it around. Let me know what you think in the comments, as usual, and don't forget to like and subscribe. A lot of you are watching these videos without subscribing, and I'm getting very close to 6,000 subscribers, by the way, so thank you very much to all of you who have subscribed. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I will see you in the next video.